Oh, we have to do that duel. Oh, we have to do that duel so badly.
We will. We
I want to
will.
go one-on-one with him. It's so much fun.
All right. Welcome to a new edition, the latest edition of Fins Talk Today. I'm your host, Bobby Melendez. And as you see on my next window here, it's not Fish Tank Hank. He actually had something pop up. So we got, of course, if you keep up with the shows and you look at those comments, we got Mr. Evan on. Evan, how you doing, brother?
I'm doing wonderful. Happy to be here tonight. I'm happy to join Phil and Hank's shoes, his very big shoes here tonight.
That's right. Got a younger version of Hank here.
A younger
guys.
version of Hank. Hank's my long lost uncle.
That's right. Well,
Mr. Positive.
That's right. That's right. And you there you go. You can bring that positivity because I know you're down with the negativity. So you come here and reboot it. So obviously it's the off season. It's after the draft, post free agency. It's slow, but there's so many other things we could talk about as the season the off season progresses, and we go into the preseason. What's up, Steve? So we talked about it a little on Thursday. I know that you watched because you were all over that chat box with TD and Brett and me, and so I know you got lots of opinions, lots of things. So I'm so happy that I knew it was last minute. I know it was last minute because we didn't expect Hank to be off, but I'm so happy that you agreed to jump on, and I'm just happy to have you. So let's start with the Tua. It's a dark horse MVP. Adam Shane of NFL.com listed Tua as he had a bunch of other candidates, of course. You know, you got Roger, all these other guys, but then he had Tua in the dark horse candidate area for MVP with the likes of Derek Carr and so forth. He gave, Caesars up in Vegas has Tua with 75-1 odds to win the award. Shane Wright said in his article, "My guy Tua is primed for a breakout year 3. Tyreek Hill is the most explosive wide receiver in the game. Putting him in the same receiving core as Jalen Waddle is borderline illegal. I love the other moves Miami made to prop up the young quarterback, adding left tackle Taron Armstead, wide receiver Cedric Wilson, and running backs Chase Edmonds, Raheem Mostert, and Sony Michel. With run game wizard Mike McDaniel calling plays as the Dolphins' new head coach. Perfection. Also, I really like Tua as a player. I'm on board. He was great in college, and he's been better than most people will lead you to believe in the NFL, as evidenced by his 13-8 record as a starter. It's about availability, not ability. If Tua stays healthy, I could see him leading the Dolphins to an 11-6 playoff season. Here's the key. I don't think he'll be a hood ornament on the ride to the postseason. Tua is going to be the engine for Miami's success." So my question for you. Should Tua be a dark horse candidate for MVP, or should he just be a candidate or not at all?
For me, the focus for Tua is not to be a candidate for MVP. He said he should be the engine, and I think he's going to be the distributor of the team. I think I said on Thursday in the chat box, I think he's going to be a Pro Bowler. I think he's going to be the MVP of the team, but I don't think he's going to be an MVP of the league, a dark horse for MVP of the league, because I don't think his stats will warrant it. Because they always go to players who have phenomenal stats. They're going at the Aaron Rodgers, they're going to the Tom Brady's, they're going to the Matthew Staffords of the world, the Justin Herberts of the world, who throw for big yards and big plays. That's not Tua's job this year. Tua's job right now is to lead this team to the playoffs and to distribute the ball and to do what he's best at, which is throw the short passes, throw the screens, throw what he needs to get the yak that they all are focusing on, and follow the offense that Mike McDaniel is going to put out there for him. Mike McDaniel, if you look around where all he's been, he's never produced in the offensive scheme an MVP. That's not what he focused on. He's focused on a committee. If he was focused on Tua being a superstar quarterback, they wouldn't be surrounding him with that much of a running game, that much of a running focus, shoring up the offensive line. They would want him to bomb every play. They'd be going after deep threats all the time. We got speed or people who can go get yak, and that's where I think his main focus is going to be. For Tua, I think that's too much pressure on him, and I believe that he should just focus on winning football games and not worry about his stats. That's his focus this year. If he can win his football games, people are not going to care about his stats as long as he gets us to the playoffs. Yes, stats are going to matter, but I think it's not even his touchdowns and his yards. It's his turnovers. It's his fumbles. It's throwing that wet ball. It's playing in the cold. Those are the little things that are going to make us a successful team this season, not focusing on his stats and being an MVP candidate.
I think that's all good points. And the other thing, too, to carry that point, because you brought up Aaron Rodgers, the Tom Brady's, and so forth, Josh Allen's, is that, yeah, that's the only reason why I would not say right now he's a dark horse MVP candidate, just because the more I think about it, is, yeah, he has Tyreek, he has Cedric Wilson, Jalen Waddle in this offensive line. And you think any quarterback in this situation, you put any quarterback in this situation like one of those guys, and yeah, that guy's an MVP candidate. for Tua to go against some of these guys, it won't make him. Yeah, he can't. I don't think he'll fit in there. But I think you're right about the team MVP. Yeah. And I've said it plenty of times on the shows, and we talked a little before the show. But to me, it's with Tua, it's about consistency and not costing the game.
Yeah.
And I think when Thursday night, when TD was bringing up players like Garoppolo, I don't think he was comparing the play of quarterbacks, but the role of the quarterback. Yeah. It's not, we need a superstar quarterback to win us the games and lead us to the playoffs. We need a guy just to do his job, don't make mistakes. My comparison is Chad Pennington, accurate game manager. That's what we need right now, and consistency. Yeah. So, but I think you bring up great points with Tua. Now, let's see with him. What was I going to say? You got so many opinions, and I definitely wanted to touch on them. But you've been following the show.
Yeah.
What do you think of Thursday? What do you think of what the guys were saying? And what do you think was out of park, or fair and foul? What was foul for them? What's up, AJ?
Foul for me is that the art of being a fan is to cheer your team on and not always look for the negative. And I think because the Dolphins have one of the longest playoff win droughts in the NFL, and maybe even all of sports for making the playoffs, it's very easy to be down on your team, be focused on the negative, focus on what is wrong with the team versus focusing on what's good with the team. So I feel like it's more the famous line, the half empty, the cup is half empty versus half full. I'm a half full kind of guy when it comes to my team because I want to look forward to watching the game, and I'm looking forward to the improvement of the team. I'm not looking for, I'm waiting for that moment for Tua to throw an interception. I'm waiting for Matt Dieter to drop the ball when he's hiking it to him. Or I'm waiting for Myles Gaskin to fumble the ball. I'm not worried about those things. I'm worried about the improvement of the team. So I believe they all have their own opinions. They're real experts in what they do. They're on podcasts. They're on your show. But at the same time, for me, I feel like they're just so focused on the negativity of the team and what Tua hasn't been able to produce. For me, I always say that Tua truly has not been given the opportunity to succeed as a team, on this team, because he was supposed to be red-shirted. He should never have played that first year. He was not healthy enough. Last year should have been his first year. Because he was thrown in the first year, people see that as his third season. To me, he hasn't really played, even though he's played 21 games, to me, he's only played a little more than a season of football, where he has also been injured. So for me, I see this as his sophomore year. And for me, I believe that he will do what is necessary because I believe he is healthy enough. And now he has the offensive weapons to succeed. So for me, I feel that everyone's focused on Tua, but focus on what's around Tua now to allow him to succeed. If he doesn't succeed, I will be the first one to come on this show and eat crow and say, he's not the quarterback. Go draft another one, take your first round picks next year and go get a superstar quarterback because I care about my team and I wish Tua all the best. But for me, I've heard on a lot of other shows, if you would have put Tua on New Orleans, or you would have put him on Minnesota, or you would have surrounded him with Justin Jefferson and Dalvin Cook or Alvin Kamara and Michael Thomas, all that he would have been successful. He hasn't had that. His superstar last year with Waddle was his first year. That was his security blanket. Parker was never on the field. Gaskin was his running back. He didn't have an offensive line. He had 2.4 seconds less than any other player in the league, quarterback in the league, to throw the football. Give the guy a chance. Then, if he's not successful with a new coach, an experienced quarterback coach in Darrell Bevel, an experienced offensive coordinator in Frank Smith, an experienced guy at college in Matt Applebaum, give the guy a chance to succeed. And if he doesn't, then move on. But at least but you've also set yourself up next year that if he's not good, then we'll see what goes on. But for me, I believe that the defense is good enough. They surround them around with the right weapons. Last year, they had 9 wins with that asinine offense, an awful offense I could not watch. I'd rather have watched the defense for 60 minutes of the game. So for me, this year, if they had 9 wins last year with that team, I believe that they can sneak out at least 1 or 2 more wins this season and make the playoffs. So that's where I stand on that.
I think that's fair. I think, and you brought up a good point because you said, I know, I think when it comes to fans, it's the same thing with like Tua haters, Tua lovers, Tua stands, Tua haters, and in betweeners. It's the same thing with the Dolphin fans right now. In general, it's not just with Tua, because you got 2 different types of fans, 3 types of fans really, because you just brought one up. You got the fans that are just so sick of mediocrity and the basement of the NFL and being the laughingstock that they're desperate for that. To me, for them, the team can never do anything right. Whether it's drafting the wrong quarterback, whether it's hiring the wrong coach, or whatever. Every play is a bad play, and when the team is good, they still look for something bad. And then you got the other fans who are just so desperate to be good that they're kind of spoiled that they say, okay, or excuse me, these guys are spoiled, and the ones that are negative about everything. You got the other ones that are so desperate that any guy wearing a helmet with a Dolphin helmet is great in their opinion.
Yeah.
To me, I mean, in my opinion, and for me, my senses, and I know for a fact some of these guys troll and whatever.
Nutty Professor
most of them troll. However, like for instance, Brett from Overtime. No, what I'll say for Brett is all about okay, look, and the same as me. Me. I mean, but to me, I don't see no reason why Tua can't be the guy. No. Tua can't do it. There's no reason. The offense is what it is right now. No. If he can't do it with this team, with this offense, then yeah, I mean, 2-3 years, you're absolutely right. First year, they started Fitzpatrick. If you're not going to start Tua, you kept Fitzpatrick in, you let him start the whole year. You don't take him out when you're winning, and then you pull the rug out of Tua, and now you kind of and then last year was just a huge mess too. You're absolutely right. But as fans that have been with this team, as for yourself as well, we've sat and watched mediocrity, and we've dealt with the mishandling of Tannehill. You got Jay Fiedler, you got Pennington, you got Trent Green, Dante Culpepper, Jerry Harrington, Gus Farrat, Cleo Lemon, Damon Ewart. I mean,
where's Chad Henne and Matt Moore?
Chad Henne, Matt Moore. I mean, but you know what I'm saying. And don't get me wrong, Pennington brought us to the playoffs. Fiedler, I give respect. I'm not going to be rude to him. I know people talk, but but my thing is, we go through so much that when when you're like, man, when are we finally going to find that guy? And there's the other fans that say, when we finally drafted a guy, not Tannehill, we drafted a guy. Because there were even Tannehill fans that were, and I like Tannehill, but there are people like, no, Tannehill is the guy. He didn't get the right chance. You think of Philbin, you think of Gase. It's like, yeah, okay, I could see that. Now you got Tua. It's the same story. Do we want to stick with 7 years of the same thing? My thing is, I get where you're coming from because I see it on the thing, and I know who's trolling and who's not trolling. Yeah. For me, I'm a fan of the team. Whatever gets us to win. And me, by watching the show, because you'll criticize me all day on there if I'm talking about, hey, this quarterback might be available next year. Bobby, stop it. But I do that because
purpose.
Yeah. I know that, but because I want to win, as everybody.
For sure do I.
So
put Lynn Bowden as quarterback. If you think Lynn Bowden can throw you a touchdown, put him besides Tua. I could not care less.
There's people dead. Look, here's the thing. Everyone knows where I stand on Tua.
Quarterback away. You're a quarterback away.
A quarterback away, absolutely. Yeah. And like I said, I was, before the draft, that wasn't the guy I wanted the Dolphins to take. I full disclosure, I always say it was Herbert because Burrow we couldn't get. He was getting drafted. But after we drafted Tua, I was excited. I bought a jersey. I was like, you know what? I'm going to support this guy. He's our quarterback. People might know better than me. This guy might be it. Now, 3 years later, we're still got a question mark at that position. He could answer it. But it's still a wait and see, and that's what's frustrating too. But you have people so desperate. These are the ones that are so desperate that they'll say, "Oh, screw Tua, start Skylar Thompson."
It's a little much. That's an extreme, right? It's an extreme.
Come on.
But for me, the reason Tua is being, if Justin Herbert was our quarterback, I don't think people, and he was struggling, people wouldn't be as hard on him. It's because he's the shiny new toy from Alabama, and we tanked for Tua. That was the mentality.
That's the thing.
That's the thing. So people had an expectation coming in. But look at all the quarterbacks who come out from these random schools who are superstars. Jared Goff was supposed to be a superstar. Back in the day, Ryan Leaf was supposed to be a superstar. Carson Wentz was supposed to be a superstar. All these quarterbacks that go
Brady
first.
Quinn.
Go look at
another guy.
Yeah. You think people right now are questioning Kyler Murray, like people who last year at the beginning of the season, when they were winning how many games in a row and then tanked at the end of the year, they couldn't win a game the last 5 or 6 games. Oh, what's wrong with Kyler Murray? So give the guy a chance to succeed, because the Buffalo Bills, until they got Josh Allen, yes, he's a different kind of quarterback. He can run. He was running better than Tua at the beginning, but he was healthier. How bad were the Buffalo Bills for how many years before? And we were always mediocre. We were in the mid-level. We were the average team, but Buffalo was below us for many, many years. There was the Jets were up at one point, but they were at the lower ground. They got Josh Allen, but at the beginning he can run, but they weren't winning a lot of games. What did they do? They got Stephon Diggs. They shored up their defense, and then they became good, and he developed into a great quarterback. He's a very different kind of quarterback, but they surrounded him with the tools he needed on his offensive line. He had Devin Singletary, not a superstar running back. He had Cole Beasley, who was a screen machine. The guy was phenomenal. They gave him the tools he needed to succeed to be a great quarterback. That's all you need to do with Tua. Give him the tools and he will succeed. And if he doesn't succeed, for me, that's on the coaching staff this year. I don't blame Mike McDaniel, but that's why they brought in an experienced guy with Darrell Bevel. They didn't bring in another rookie. They didn't bring in some random person. They gave someone who has many years of experience as an offensive coordinator and as a quarterback's coach to guide him. People don't realize what's going on in that room. He has Teddy Bridgewater. Just the knowledge he's going to get from all the years of experience in the quarterback room, I think is going to make him a successful quarterback. And if he doesn't, so what? Skylar Thompson, he's a 7th-round pick. So what? We've had experience. So what? He'll be an addition to the team. And if it doesn't work out with Tua, move on to something else. For me, I don't care. I don't care if it's Tom Brady, Teddy Bridgewater. Bring back Fitzpatrick for all I care. If the team is going to win, I don't care how they win.
That's right.
It's about the team. It's about the team. I don't care if they have 7 running backs. I love the Melvin Ingram signing.
Linebacker.
I love there's a rotational player with Ogba and Van Ginkel on the team on the edge. I think he has the right fit. For me, we talked on. You've been on the show last week. You were talking about center, and we were looking for centers. I did my research. Whether it's the guy I'm really interested in is a guy named Matt Parody. The guy has couple of years in the experience. He was the top offensive lineman in Carolina. For me, there's a guy Billy Price in New York. Go get someone to give competition. The one thing I felt that they made a mistake on the offensive line last year, which was even worse, is it kept on shifting players. Where should Eichenberg play? Where should Kinley play? Where should Hunt play? Where should get a guy who's experienced at the position and have competition? That's what raises people's levels. And that's what I think with Tua. The level of competition he's going to face this year is going to be much more difficult than last year. And I think that gives them a motivational factor to rise to the opportunity and succeed. If they don't, then there will be a house cleaning on a quarterback next year.
I think it's all good points. And the reason why I brought Skylar Thompson was just how crazy some people are, is that they say, hey, bench Tua and then put Skylar Thompson.
Yeah,
and the thing is, look, all you needed me to be a fan of Skylar Thompson, besides his play from the college, which he was all right, but there's a reason why he's a 7th-round pick. But what made me a fan of the kid or root for this kid eventually is just how passionate he was about being drafted. How excited he was about being drafted. I was very happy for him. But let's be realistic. Benching Tua for Skylar Thompson, people stop dreaming. Now, that's why as a fan, I'm excited about having Teddy Bridgewater there.
Yeah.
And not because, to overthrow Tua, but if Tua gets hurt, if and when, because he usually does, we have a viable starting caliber quarterback sitting right there who I think is pretty dang good. I know people say all they want about him. He's been to multiple teams. 1st-round pick, played well in Minnesota. He got that almost career-ending injury. I think he'd still be a decent starting quarterback for a team who's trying to make a playoff run if Tua goes down.
If Teddy Bridgewater would have been our backup quarterback last year, we'd made the playoffs. Jacoby Brissett, those games that he played, it literally was a game of whack-a-mole. You did not know where he was going to throw the ball. He has experience, but he's never been successful as a starter anywhere. Teddy Bridgewater, when Drew Brees went down, he was 5-0. When he was in Carolina, he was successful. Last year, they didn't make the playoffs, but look at this. Denver, look what they've done. They're the famous line you just said. Last year, people were probably saying with their team, they're the quarterback away from being great. Now they got Russell Wilson. So now do the referee. It's different because Tua is younger, but give Tua the chance to succeed with weapons. Last year, Teddy Bridgewater couldn't lead them to the playoffs with weapons. So he's a nice stopgap. He's a nice backup goalie. He's a good backup quarterback. He's not a starter. He's not a 16-game starter. Tua has the potential because Tua is younger. He's had more winning experience. And now you're giving him the tools around him that he had, similar to Alabama. I'm not comparing it to Alabama, but you're giving him a running game. You're giving him an offensive line. You're giving him speed. And I don't care about the stats. Just put the players on the field and let's see what he can do. Give him tools. That's all I'm asking. And give him one extra second. Give him 1 extra second to throw the ball.
Well, and what you're saying too about giving him tools. So you're not talking about current Dolphins, because the Dolphins have done that with Tyreek and Cedric and the running backs and offensive line. Last year, you're absolutely right. They didn't have that. AA says all we need is and this might trigger some people, but I get where he's coming from. Is coming from. All we need is a Mark Sanchez effort. Mark Sanchez went to 2 AFC championships back to back. Tua has twice the weapons around him that twice the Jets defense. Bringing the rookie Tua back, protect the football.
But he lost in those playoff games.
Yeah, but I get it. You know, it's not stellar quarterback play. No. He wasn't the best player on that football team, but he did his job. And that's in the same thing when I'm talking about Pennington or Jimmy G. That's the type of thing we're talking about when it comes to Tua. Because the other thing too, you said this, and it's such a great point because I've said this before. When people say, "Oh, I remember Tua got drafted, the next big quarterback since Marino. Oh, he's gonna have this many yards with this many. He's gonna be the best thing ever." We're going to talk a little bit if the Dolphins are being overhyped this season in just a little bit. But to me, that's overhyped. You didn't give the kid a chance to fail because you're putting him on such a high pedestal that when he did throw, mess up during that Tennessee game and look like a third stringer. He looked like, I said that game, he looked like a 5th overall pick. He looked like the 5th overall pick turned into a 5th round pick. He was horrible. But, he again, like you said, last year could have been his rookie year because he should have just been sitting down on the bench for the whole Fitzpatrick season. Except he plays this year and he had some bad games. I mean, I left that Tennessee game. I talked to a dozen Dolphin fans from all over because they love to come to every game. Yeah. This was in Tennessee, and man, there were people that were like, "I'm done with Tua," because no one actually gives him a chance to succeed, not even a chance to succeed. Give him a chance to fail. Those are what the young years are for. Now we're 3 years in. This is the time to say either he is or he's not, because the window is closing on the Dolphins. We just signed these guys, but the window is closing.
And people seem to forget that game. It was the day that I watched that game. I watched it from beginning to end, and he was awful in that game. But you know who was worse? The defense was worse for the amount of they let that running back, I forget his name, run through them. No, it wasn't Derrick Henry. It was the backup.
No, you're right. Henry was out until the playoffs.
I forget his name.
I know who you're talking about.
And Matt Pilardi, I think his average punt was 25 yards. I think that game he literally gave them field position on our side of the field.
But let me ask you this. Let me ask you this, because you're absolutely right. You're not you're not saying anything out of turn.
You're behind the 8 ball.
Exactly. But whose eyes, the fans, where are their eyes to? When they're looking at the team,
it's always about the quarterback.
It's the eye of Sauron is looking right at Tua. You know what I mean? That's why when Flores got fired, he was so happy, not because I don't think he's like that Flores is gone. It's more because the eye of Sauron of Dolphin fans turned away from him and looked straight at the coaching staff. What's up, Miss Fins? And she's right. Hit that like and subscribe button, guys. This is the Fins Talk Network. Got Fins Talk Today, Fins Talk Overtime. Follow Miss Fins on her YouTube channel. Always some great content. Love watching her when I'm at work. I'll put her on and listen to her and her
I listened to her also. I had some fun with her last Thursday. We're having some fun in the chat.
Yeah, no,
you should read the chat after the show. You'd have some fun.
I always read the chats. I go over them and we get a good laugh. Me
and Chris have a good time. Me and Chris.
Let's talk about this offense very quick. Because I know, look, we're at the 23-minute mark already, but that's okay. During an interview on SiriusXM, Miami Dolphins general manager Chris Grier stated that this new look offense, Miami Dolphins offense, even the defensive guys, quote, he's saying, quote unquote, even the defensive guys about a week ago were saying how they cannot believe the transformation on offense and how these guys are doing. When you hear that from general manager Chris Grier, who rarely talks, and when he does, he's very close to the vest. But when he says that about defensive players saying it to him, are you taking that as maybe he's just saying that to make everybody feel good, or do you believe it, and how do you feel about it?
I think he truly believes it, because I feel now I felt when Flores was there, I think he felt a little more restrained and he didn't talk as much. You never really saw him. I think now he's really getting the chance to really speak his mind. I believe he got the coach that he wanted. He signed the players that he wanted. I don't think if Flores was still the coach, he never would have signed these players. And I believe that he truly believes he now has the tools, the coaching staff, like you've said, and I couldn't agree more. The coaching staff, I think there's more pressure on the coaching staff this year to succeed than the players, because that's where I feel last year we had a lot of people who were coordinators who should have been assistants, coaches who should not have been coordinators. There was no experience. There was no truly, like when we had Chan Gailey, well, at least we had an experienced coach with years upon years. Our most experienced. I felt like our most experienced coach was Flores, and he's been a head coach in the league for 5 minutes. So for me, I believe that he truly does believe this. I think he has his, even though he's not, I don't think his job is in jeopardy. I think he's been with the team for so long that I don't think Grier, I don't think he's getting fired this year. I think if he's going to get fired, it will be in 2 years when he has one more draft to go. But I truly believe he thinks he has a playoff team here, and he has the tools necessary and the coaches necessary to succeed. I think he truly believes that, and I believe the reason I think he believes it, I think he has two people in his ear, in Marvin Allen and Reggie McKenzie, who have experience on other teams, and I think he wouldn't have made any of these signings or any of these decisions without their say so. I think there's a real trio there of executives there who truly believe this is the team that can beat the Bills, that can make it to the playoffs, that can make noise in the playoffs. I truly believes that, and I believe he thinks the offense is going to be the engine this year, and the defense is going to be. If the defense is, they need the off. I think he believes the offense and the defense are going to be similar. I think he thinks he has a top 10 offense, and I believe thinks he has a top 10 defense. I think he truly believes it.
What do you think? What do you think if you had to predict the ranking for? And I know it's early. I know, and again, like I said on the show, we did the schedule prediction on the day of the schedule reveal. But I said as we get closer to the season, we'll do another one after we've had more thought on it. But if you look at this offense and even the defense, Melvin Ingram. I think that kid that the undrafted free agent out of Oregon. Of course, you got Channing Tindall. All these guys. What are you thinking about the offense and defense? Where would you rank them? If you had to put a rank on them, and you go, man, I project that Miami's offense is going to be this, and I project defense might be this. What do you think?
I think the defense is going to be anywhere between overall defense, because I think on turnovers, I think on sacks they're going to be a lot higher. But I think overall defense, I think they're going to be anywhere between 6 and 12, and I think the offense is going to be anywhere between 10 and 15. And I think if they do that, I think they're going to make the playoffs. I really truly think that because I think they're going to win close games. They're not going to win shootouts. I think they're going to pick their spots, but I don't think they're going to need the last year were they scoring 17 points a game. I believe that they just need to get to that mid-level where the average team is scoring anywhere between 24 and 27 points a game. And I think they're going to be golden because I think their defense can hold. I think the defense can do what is necessary to keep defenses around the 21 to 24. So as long as they can get to 24-27, I think they're going to be fine. But for me, the number one, and I think I bring this up in the chat a lot, one area that was really lacking last year, and I think that cost us a lot of games, if you look back at the Jacksonville game, you look back at the Atlanta game, is Jason Sanders. And Jason Sanders last year, I think, was one of the worst kickers in the league, just in terms of key kicks at key moments. And like they would get down the field, they couldn't close it because Tua just couldn't get the ball down the field at the time. They had a 35 to 45 yard field goal, and he'd pooch it. And I think he didn't have the right holder. I don't think they had the right line there. And I believe that if their special teams is improved this year and gives us an extra 3 points a game, it's going to make all the difference.
Great.
That's offense to me. Kicking is offense to me. So that whether you're punting, whether you're punting, whether you're kicking field goals, whether it's kickoff, all those things matter on your offense,
I think when, in regards to Chris Grier, again, I think in regards to how the offense is playing in practice or in this pre-training camp, whatever, I think, again, it falls on the coaching staff, the energy. The defense is seeing, they've played against Tua for 2.5 seasons. Now it's going into their third year. They've played against, they got Jalen Waddle last year. I think the difference is, you could easily point to Tyreek and Cedric Wilson and all these other guys, but Terran Armstead. But I think it's more about the energy of the head coach and the coaching staff. And you bringing that up now with the difference between Darrell Bevel and John Embry and you got Applebaum and Frank
Welker.
Smith and Welker and above. I think it's the energy that this coaching staff has, this offense bringing. I think that's more of that when this team is seeing the type of play, the smiles on Tua's face. And he might not be talking about more of, oh, man, you should see how these guys are doing it, the transformation. Tua's throwing 70-yard bombs and they're scoring touchdowns. No, it's more about, man, look how maybe laid back these guys are. And look how easy the offense is flowing now, the chemistry between the guys. And, you have a lot of guys – whether it's Flores' fault or not, there are guys on the Dolphins. They're still on this team now that were probably backstabber, talking trash behind guys' backs and everything else. But I think because you have a coach who's a positive, and that's why for me with the coach, he's probably such a positive dude and a positive energy. It translates to the offense. That's why, again, as you know, and you've been saying it because I said it, is that again, I'm more excited about the coaching staff than I am about the roster because I think this coaching staff could bring out the best in this roster.
Like the scheme the scheme for me is my only fear right now. Like for me, the only areas I think that they still don't know who the starters are, and that's the only pause we all have, and I'm sure you agree, is center right. We don't know who the right tackle is. We know who the right guard is, but we don't know who the true center is going to be all season. They need to bring in more depth there and who the right tackle is going to be. And I don't want them shifting players like Connor Williams to where they need to go. They just need to shore up who's going to be where, design the scheme, give people chances to succeed, and then they'll go from there.
Let me read Miss Finns. She agrees with you. I expect Sanders to have another breakout year. Last year's Holder was not the one, and it affected his game. You don't go from 97% to 55 in 1 year unless it's a major injury. She's absolutely right.
Yep.
That's what, and what I love to, and again, that's why I tell people, follow Miss Finns. Go check out her page. Get her on Twitter because she doesn't just talk. She knows her stuff. She gets stats, and she'll hold you to. Man, the first show I had with her, she was like, whoa, hold on a second. I was like, just talk. Just let me have it. I don't mind it.
She's right.
So, but she's right. Absolutely. So, and now talking about starters. I had that on my list, and I said we were going to skip it and talk about something else, but we're on a roll, so we'll keep it going. So, obviously, quarterback is Tua. He'll be the starter. Running back, who do you have as your running back? Who do you
starting running back? Running back?
Yes,
I think for me, my starting running back, because of injury concerns, I know a lot of people last week were talking, I believe it was TD Finn's talk, who talked about Sony Michel. I believe it's Chase Edmonds because as the starter. I think he'll be the starter because of the fact that he has less injury concerns and he has been a more consistent starter than Mostert. They don't know if he's going to be ready for the season. So Michel has had injury concerns. So for me, I believe that it's going to be Edmonds who starts the year at running back. I think it's going to be by committee, but I think he's going to be the main focus of the starting offense this year. I think he was the first. And I think the reason why also is that you go with the first guy you chose. He was our first signing. He was our first big signing of the offseason. I believe that they saw something in him. I think McDaniels sees something in him. Also, McDaniels he has Mostert. He's had experience with him. But also, remember, for the years he was in San Francisco, he watched Chase Edmonds play in Arizona twice a year. He knows what's coming at him. So I believe that that's going to make a very big difference. I think Edmonds is starting.
Awesome. Fullback, it's Alec Ingold.
It's Alec Ingold.
Okay. Right receivers, Jalen Waddle and Tyreek Hill. Tight end, Mike Gesicki. Left tackle, Armstead. Left guard.
Okay, by the way, it's Mike Gesicki, but on third down, it's Durham Smythe. It's not Mike Gesicki. Take him off the field. God damn it. Can't block for his life. Left guard? Well, left guard is going to be Connor Williams.
Because there's that report that Miami.
No, he ain't going to center. Do not move him to center. Do not do that.
Absolutely What's that? So you got center. It's Dieter right now, right?
It's Dieter, but I believe that they need to sign someone. So we talk about Treader, but I know what we talked about on Thursday night. I was reading. There's a lot of depth centers out there. Give them competition. Like there's a gentleman I read about, Matt Parody, who was the best offensive lineman in Carolina. There was Billy Price, who was also a young guy who I think is in his late 20s, early 30s, who has experience. You need to get a veteran center to challenge Dieter, because if Dieter's also had injury concerns. So what happens if Dieter gets injured? Stop shifting people. I don't think Eichenberg has that skill. Kinley doesn't have that skill. Hunt doesn't have that skill. Put somebody in at center. I don't believe in if Treader's an option. I would sign him if he's inexpensive. We have cap room. We have I think the third or fourth most cap room left in the league right now. If you sign Treader and he doesn't work out, he plays 6 games. So what? But if he, for me, I know there was talked about the TD Finn's talked about last week that there might be some rumblings. But go out and get a center, or wait till I wouldn't wait till September, till when cuts start to happen, to find a center. I think Dieter. I don't want Dieter to get too comfortable because every other player knows there's a backup there. Every single player knows there's a backup there. Tua has Bridgewater. The running backs have a huge committee. Michael Dieter is the only one who truly doesn't have a backup or a guy to compete with. Give him competition.
Great points. Miss Fins writes back, "Hey, Gesicki is blocking people all the time, mostly on Twitter. LOL."
Remember that play when he was running across and the ball hit to? Oh my God! He was the only one person who knew what the play was going on. Remember that? Awful.
Right guard.
Right guard is definitely going to be Hunt.
Okay. Don't move him. Who's your right tackle?
Who is it? Is it? Honestly, I'm not. I only from the last game. I would actually give 2 points. Hey, Brett's going to love me now. I'd put Robert Jones. I think I like your choice. Eichenberg, I think, needs a little year of seasoning. I think he was rushed into left tackle. And I believe Austin Jackson still needs a little bit of seasoning. I think they need development this year. I've actually even given a competition between Robert Jones and even Kellen Deach. I would say give a guy a chance to succeed. I think there should be competition. That's the one position that should be a ton of competition. But 5 guys there.
Yeah, I think it's between the 3 guys. I mean, Robert Jones is a fun pick.
For fun.
I think he, but hey, you never know. I mean,
Yeah.
But I think Eichenberg, Jackson, or Kellen Deach, who we signed that guaranteed contract, I think he definitely has a chance to be the starter at right tackle. And again, as I've said for since even before I did the show with Hank Finstock today, just my own, it's not about investment in this offensive line. It was about development, and that coaching staff, I trust, especially this one, to do better with this.
They rush these players. They rush
exactly. So let's talk a little bit before we close this out. So counting, all Dolphin fans right now, the majority of them, about 99.9%. I very much doubt 0.1% are there, but are very excited about this upcoming season. Whether you're believing the quarterback or you don't, you're excited about the new head coach. You're excited about the new offense with Tyreek Hill and Jalen Waddle and Tyron Armstead. Everyone's excited. We're all saying 12 wins, this wins. I've seen a couple Dolphin fans saying 8, 7, whatever, whether they're just being haters or not. But I respect everyone's opinion when it comes to that. But I'm somebody, and we'll get another chance to look at the schedule as we get closer to the season, redo it, get more in depth with it. But I would say 13-4. I believe Hank had 13-3-1 with a tie against Buffalo. And then Brett was more subtle. I think he had 12-5 or something like that.
Mr. Negativity had 12-5. Wow. That's a troll. That's such a troll.
But all fans are excited. We're saying playoffs. We're saying these, dark horse MVP candidate, etc. No. But Colin Cowherd was saying with Joy Taylor, Jason Taylor's sister, who's I hate to say it like that, but like she's famous because of Jason Taylor's sister. She's great at her job, and she's moved up.
But she has to host with Colin Cowherd. God for sake.
Yeah, I know. God bless her. But
bless her.
He was saying that even though he said the Dolphins have gotten better, obviously on paper and everything else, that Dolphin fans might be a little too excited or a little too whatever they were saying, overconfident. So my question for you, as the Mr. Positivity. The Mr. with Hank, and you're going to take his place because I know what he would say.
Yeah.
Are we as Dolphin fans overhyping this Dolphins team? Are they overrated right now?
Don't we? I think every year we overrate our team, but I think for the first time in many, many years, we have superstar players on our team. Like we've always said, there was never a superstar on this team. Tyreek Hill is an elite superstar caliber player on offense. If you just read, I think it was Pro Football Focus who also said it. Xavier Howard is the number 1 rated cornerback right now in the NFL. We have one of the top defensive players, and we have one of the top offensive players. What team would not be overhyped based on that? Like I said earlier in the show, last year we were 9-8, and we were not. And I believe we didn't. We had the defense. We were just missing the offensive tools to be able to do it. But the offense did enough to win football games, 9 of them somehow. For me, the team is not overhyped. I think that some people are going a little crazy. 13 wins. If you read every chat box, I've never said we're going to get more than 11 wins. I think at 11-6, we're making the playoffs. We don't have to necessarily win the division. I think we have to pick up at least 1 win against all of our divisional opponents, and win those key games on the road. For me, if they win 2 of those 3 games on the road when they have that brutal schedule in December, they're going to make the playoffs. For me, the Dolphins are all about December. They can win in October, September. They can win in October. They can win in November. They have always struggled in December down the stretch. They've always had those final 2 games. We're going to make the playoffs. We choke. I truly believe that the team is not overhyped. I think that it's an exciting time to be a Dolphin fan because when we were signing players, Dominican Sue, so what? He wasn't a game changer. We now have offensive game changers a player who literally could take the ball from the backfield and score 7 and leave everyone in his wake. We have the necessary tools to be able to win very close football games. We have those key players. We've never had that before. In all my years of being a Dolphin fan, we've always talked about Marino, Ricky Williams, who we all said, like you guys had the conversation about if Ricky Williams could have been the closest thing to Marino had he not had all his issues. Who else have we truly had since before Marino? So now we have a player who's in any other team, was this is one of the top 2 wide receivers in the NFL with Devontae Adams. Like, give this team a chance to succeed. And I believe that the Waddle's improvement, Cedric Wilson's improvement, and Tyreek Hill, I think Tyreek Hill can win us a football game, at least one football game on his own. So, like, just give us the team a chance, and I think we're going to make the playoffs. I don't think we're overhyped. I think we're just overexcited. Don't use the term overhyped. We're overexcited because we now have these shiny new toys, and we're excited to open them up. And that's, I believe that we now have the coach who's going to open them up, spread their wings, and they're going to make the playoffs. That's what I believe.
So, a couple things. Hopefully I don't forget anything as I'm going along because I got a couple points. So, first off, I think every year we overhype the team, overrate the team. I think you're absolutely right, and I agree with that. Every year we have this conversation, man, this is the team, and it ends up being, oh, what the hell happened? That happens. With the Sue thing, again, remember, when we signed Sue, just like Mike Wallace and Brandon Marshall, it was always, oh, there's the piece. That's the piece. I mean, because we had that, offense was like this. We got Brandon Marshall was Chad Henne. Mike Wallace was Ryan Tannehill. Sue was with Tannehill. And ended up not being anything. That they had a big press conference. They blew it all up. They ended up blowing them in the face, and then no more splashes. So I disagree on that part because, again, the team overhyped it. And because you still have other pieces that had to be fixed. And you didn't have the right coach and Philbin and whoever. And, that was the failure. Right now, I think some fans are overhyping the team in regards of, and we get the guilty of that because you have what you said, one of the top players at his position for years and still in his prime in Tyreek Hill. Yeah. And I know people talk about, it's not Patrick Mahomes throwing him. It doesn't need to be Patrick Mahomes. I get so sick of people overhyping the 50-yard, 60, 70-yard pass in practice or all this. Oh, can't throw it. He can't throw it. Whatever. It doesn't freaking matter. No. Just get him the football. 10, 15, 5 yards. Let him make a play. That's what matters. Make an accurate play of the ball. Get it into his hands. Get it in his bread basket. Let him go. Yeah. And Steve, I see you, man. Steve says him and his son have a $100 bet. His son says that the Dolphins are going 8-9. He says 11-6.
Let's go, Steve.
I hope Steve he wins that $100. Yeah, win that $100. Now, my other point is, we overhype him. That's a fact. I get it. You brought up a great point before the show about it's the local media and the fans. I know you brought that up a little earlier, but one thing I want to say, this is why I'm hyped about this Dolphins team. It's not about the roster because I still have my questions at quarterback. I got my question at center, right tackle. Here's why I'm hyped on this team. You could say I'm overhyped or whatever. It's the coaching staff. Yep. It's the coaching. This falls on two things. For the Dolphins to be a playoff team next season, the coaching staff should have succeeded and our quarterback. It falls on the quarterback. Yep. The team is a quarterback away. Tua can do that. I'm not saying he can't. I'm not saying he's not there. He hasn't been there the last couple of years. He could grow into that this year with this offense and this coaching staff. If he does his job and the coaching staff does their job by developing him and giving him the assets to be successful, this is a playoff team. Yep. I'm very confident in our coaching staff. And I'm somebody who wasn't on the Mike McDaniel hype train. I wasn't, everybody was like, oh, right away, they saw a picture of him with a smirk and, oh, this is the dude. He's cool. I wasn't like that. I wanted a veteran coach. I talked about Harbaugh and Peterson and whatever. Yeah. But as I did more research on this guy, I saw how his history he's been in the league for almost 2 decades. Yeah, a lot of players, fellow coaches speaking so highly of him. I said, this guy, because my thing was about the coaching staff. What type of staff can he bring in? Because that's where I thought Flores failed the team. You had Chad O'Shea, then you had Chan Gailey, then you had this 3 offensive coordinators. Yeah. What a freaking mess, and then you didn't know who was the defensive coordinator as well, because then you find, it's Boyer. No, wait, no, Flores called play. No, wait, it was this other guy in the second.
Gerald Alexander.
Thank you. So it was just an all over the place thing. Yeah. I have my own opinions now later in Flores, but anyway, as we go on now, as I'm watching this coach, and he hasn't coached a game yet, and we got to wait and see. But I see how he is. He's transparent. He's cool. He's great with the fans. He's good with the media. But what's more important for me is how he is with the players. He doesn't seem like he's above the players. He seems like he is on the same page. Like this, he's one of the boys. That's something that stands out to me. And I'm not saying I don't want him to be a players coach and just bow down to the players or bend over for players. I'm saying looks like they're having fun with him. Yeah. That they run through a wall for him. I love what I'm saying. And what I love to hear in his conferences, his interviews, especially with the other coaches as well, is teachers. Teachers. We are teachers.
Yeah.
We don't force guys on our thing. We mold the playbook around them. So, yes, is the team overhyped? Of course they are. We're diehard fans.
Yeah,
we're going to be overhyped on a team. Now you got people like me that Evan's going to go off on the show, or Brett. That I'll be, hey man, I don't know. I think this, and this. And they go, oh, Bobby, stop hating on us. Not about, but yeah. We're going to be overhyped because this is our team. But in reality, the reason why I'm hyped on this football club this season or future is, first off, you think of the cap space, you think they're more of the draft picks, and you put the coaching staff. It's the staff. I think the Dolphins found a gem in Mike McDaniel, and this is somebody who didn't want him. But the more I see him, the research him, and obviously watch him now, and watch how he carries himself and the staff he's put together, I'm more excited about this coaching staff than I am about the roster. I really am. Yeah. And I think that's why we have a very legitimate shot. I don't want to see us make the playoffs. And what I mean by this is we go 11-6, we make the playoffs, and we lose.
For sure not. Yeah.
If we do that, that's a failure in my opinion.
Yeah,
I'm not happy about it.
No.
Screw it. And this is why I think McDaniel's different. It's not, and God rest his soul, Tony Sparano, and went to the playoffs, lost. Adam Gase went to the playoffs, lost. Of course, Matt Moore was the quarterback at that point. Tannehill went down. To me, I think McDaniel is somebody who go to the playoffs and win a game. You go to the playoffs and you at least win one game. Of course, I want you to win all of them. I'm good. You are the guy for 10 years, in my opinion. Yeah. Just continue to build on that. And whoever you want as your quarterback, whether it's Tua or whoever you want as your team, as your whatever, do what by him because he knows what he's doing. But, of course, that's a wait and see. But that's why I'm hyped on this squad.
No, I'm hyped on the team also. I think he surrounded himself. Look at the people he signed. He did not sign – the only person I as a leader on a particular position who didn't have experience coaching on the ranks, it was – I believe he was Applebaum. Everyone else on the offensive line comes with so much experience doing other things. On the defense, he brought back former Dolphins and Madison, Surtain, but he still kept the key staff because he wants experienced people to teach him. The reason he was successful is because he's learned from other coaches, and his plan is to learn from his fellow coaches and to teach his players and spend time in the film room. And that's, if you look at the Dolphins social media now, I think I follow them on everything. The fun they're having with the cams and all. You didn't do that with Flores. You never allowed that to happen. Let the players be players, because in the end, they're human beings. They're working their asses off in 2-a-day practices. Look at the amount of players that are there at OTAs. Like it just let the team develop. It's only May, and in September, don't get overhyped after game one, and just have fun. Enjoy the ride. This is supposed to be fun. It's football. It's a game. It's supposed to be fun. Enjoy the team. And if you don't like, and honestly, if the moment this team becomes too stressful and you're frustrated and you're writing all this negativity and having a tantrum about the Dolphins, go pick another team. We want people who are realistic. We want people who are cheering for their team. Like, for me, if I remember, there was a game they were getting crushed. I forget which game they lost last year, but they got crushed. And I literally watched every moment of every play. And I don't turn off the game because the team is losing. I watch it to watch the team. I want to see how the team is going to develop and how they're going to learn from the next game. I'm passionate about my team, not about just the players. And that starts from the coaches to anybody, to the staff, whether it's McKenzie, Allen, Grier, Ross. It doesn't matter who. Just cheer for everybody and just have a good time. That's all. That's what it's about.
Well, that's my thing. That's the other thing too. I mean, like I said, when full disclosure, when the draft was that year when Tua was drafted, I wanted the one quarterback. We ended up getting Tua, and that means Tua was our quarterback. So you support our quarterback. Doesn't mean that I'm blinded by all the bad stuff, but it's just you support your guy. He's wearing your uniform, because if he does great, or Chris Grier makes the right decisions, or McDaniel succeeds, you succeed as a Dolphin fan. One of my biggest pet peeves, first off, I'm with you. I watch every play till the final second. Yeah. I could turn off a game. I could turn off a baseball game. I could turn off a basketball game. Obviously not right now with the playoffs, with the Heat. But I could turn off. I could walk away. I could never walk away from a Dolphins game. I watched till the final snap, i.e. the Miami Miracle. Remember I was with the Dolphins. The Dolphins were down by the Patriots. And it was Tannehill. They had that few seconds left. Yeah. And I remember my daughter said, "Daddy, can we go play?" And I said, honey, yes, we're going to go play. Give me a moment. Let me just watch this last minute thing. And I wasn't looking at the screen. I was looking at her. And I remember all of a sudden he said, and this will end it. That was the play when he threw it. And this will end it, or will it? And I remember going, whoa. Yeah. And you miss moments like that. Yeah. But I don't care win, lose, or draw. I'm watching the Dolphins. One of my biggest pet peeves is whether, let's say they trade to him, fire coach, lose a game, sign a new quarterback, whether it's Brady, whomever. And when people say, if they do this, or if the Dolphins continue to do this, or so-and-so does this, I'm not going to be a fan anymore. That's one of my biggest pet peeves. If the Dolphins lose, I'm not a fan anymore. I'm sick of all this. Then you weren't really a fan, in my opinion. If I'm a fan, win, lose, or draw.
Yeah.
I want to win games. If that means Tua can do it, then I'm all on board for Tua. If he wins games and we're in the playoffs and we're winning the Super Bowl, he's our quarterback until he's not. It's the same thing with the coach and the same thing with the players. Just move it along. We'll suffer for years and years and years, but I'll stay a Dolphin.
Yeah. How long is it going to take a Dolphins fan to say that in the first game against the Patriots, the godforsaken Patriots, how many times are we going to face this team? The first interception he throws, do you pull him? How many players? Go watch Twitter. I guarantee you, he throws the first interception he throws in the first game. Take him out. Put in Bridgewater. The season's over. No. He's allowed to make a mistake, and that's why you have other players. Are you telling me that Chase Edmonds shouldn't play again because he fumbles a football, or Xavier Howard shouldn't play because he drops an interception?
I think that was one of Flores' biggest flaws as a coach.
Yanking. He just yanked.
Yank your guy. You don't let. That's the thing. You started Fitzpatrick the first season, which is fine. The rookie usually sits. Now, not nowadays, but in the past, the rookie sits and the starter starts. The Dolphins were winning football games, but for some odd reason, whether you're forced by ownership or the general manager, or you just were just not doing the right decision, you start Tua. You pull Fitzpatrick, you break his heart. He's all in tears on the cameras. You start Tua. Tua obviously is not ready. He's making the rookie mistakes, which is fine. Let him make the mistakes. It's too late now. Don't pull him back out and put Fitzpatrick in the mess with the kid's confidence. Yeah. But they did. Then the new season starts. You take Fitzpatrick out. You let him go to Washington. He gets hurt. But Tua starts. Then Tua gets hurt. He didn't have a very impressive game at all against New England. Week 2, he gets hurt. He's out for a certain amount of weeks. You put Brissett. We suffer through that. Go through that. You leave him in a little too long. You're saying, wait a second. Tua seems like he's ready. Then Tua is not impressive. You put in Brissett. You're taking Brissett. The decision-making was just horrible. Yeah. And that's why, again, when I go back to that point, I just believe that this coaching staff, you play for the players. You don't yank them, you whatever. I think he's going to give these players opportunities to play, make mistakes. Yes, if we're 4 to 5 games in, and Tua is wetting the bed, and he's not doing it, because I don't mind if you throw an interception. I don't care if you throw 2 interceptions, as long as you can win the game and don't cost us the game. You're up by 20, don't throw 5 picks and all that other crap. Yeah. It is what it is. Just be consistent. Don't cost us the game. If we're 4 or 5 games in and you've been wet in the bed and you're obviously, then yes, put Bridgewater in. It's time to try to save the season for the players that we have, because yes, it's sexy to have Tyreek Hill, Cedric Wilson, Jalen Waddle, Mike Gesicki, Tyron Armstead. It's sexy to have that. And you go, man, we could win. But guess what? After next season, the window starts to close. Yeah. Contracts start to inflate. You start thinking about trading players. So that's why, for me, it's you go, man, he's only 3 years in. We only have 2 or 3 years with this type of roster. Yeah. That's why after the season, if he can't do it, if he can't hit the stride running,
make a change.
You got to make a change, whomever that may be.
The shelf life in the NFL, you're only as good as your last game, and that's what I believe. So if he doesn't succeed, switch him. So what? You did what you could. You did what you could. He did the best that he could. And if he's not the right quarterback, you move on. Who knows? People believe that if he's not successful here, maybe he'll go somewhere else and he'll be successful. Maybe it wasn't the right fit for him. We'll see.
Hey, that's what happened with Tannehill. Of course, they got
but also one final point I made not to make. But the whole thing with Jimmy G last year, they traded up with us to get Trey Lance. Oh, Trey Lance is going to be the next. They don't believe in Jimmy G. Well, who started the whole season? Jimmy G. When Trey Lance went in, he was not very good. That's why they put him back on the bench, because that was only when Jimmy G was injured. But when Jimmy G was struggling in the playoffs, he somehow took him to an NFC Championship game. When he threw that bad interception, did they yank him? No. Kyle Shanahan had a proper focus. You stick with the guy. You give him a chance. If he doesn't succeed this year, then you move on. And if Jimmy G is not the right quarterback, or he's not healthy enough, and they need to move on to Trey Lance, and Trey Lance succeeds this year at the beginning of the year, then Jimmy G will move on. It's a business, right? It's a business. That's all that matters. And if Tua doesn't succeed, he's man enough. He played for freaking Nick Saban, for God's sakes. He's mature enough to handle it, and he'll move on to somewhere else. You want to know what? I'll make you laugh. Let him go play in New England with Belichick next year for all I care. Let him go play with Mac Jones for all I care. If he's not successful, then move on.
Yeah, that's all Dolphin fans need. And but
Devontae Parker. Yeah, you think Devontae? People are so worried.
He was wearing a obviously he's wearing a New England jersey, but he's wearing a Boston I call Boston Celtics, not Celtics, it's Celtics. But he's wearing a Boston. Get the hell out of here!
Exactly.
Man. Right. But anyway, look, I think you nail on the head. Love all your points. You're absolutely right. Again, I think coaching staff makes a huge difference. I think Tua will benefit greatly more from that than he will from, and obviously he's a benefit from the roster, but I think he'll benefit more from staff coaching than he will those guys. But hey, look, first off, again, Evan, I thank you for being
always a pleasure.
The time to come on here, man. I know you had a lot to say, and I mean, it was all amazing points. And
I would have been trolling you instead. So if I'm either on here or I'm trolling you, it doesn't make a difference.
That's right. That's right. But man, it was awesome to have you, and everyone who was tuning in and messaging. Thank you, Miss Finn, Steve, AA, everyone. Again, please, if you haven't already, you're watching this channel, Finn's Talk Network on YouTube. Smash that like and subscribe button every Monday and Thursday, and some days in between. We have different programs on these two shows. Evan, it will be on sometimes, and he's always on the chat box if he's not on the show. But as always, guys, thank you for tuning in. We will see you on Thursday. We have, if you don't know on Twitter, Third and Juan. He writes for Fanatic. He'll be on the show on Thursday with Brett. So that's our new guest for Thursday Night Overtime, Evan. So you'll have fun with that.
I'm gonna have some fun.
And one of these shows, on one of these overtimes, I'll get you on so you can be with me and Brett on there as well.
I need my duel with him. I need to have some fun with him. We agree on a couple things. Just on we agree on a lot of more things than you think, but it's fun to duel with him.
What I'll do is I'll just go ahead and have the topics and shoot them, and then I'll back up, and you guys just go, and I'll just let it be. But
it'll be fun.
That's right. But anyway, guys, thank you for tuning in. We will see you on Thursday. Fins up, everybody.